Okay, good morning. This is my second attempt at this, as my first one failed miserably because of microphone problems. I streamed it, and only afterwards did I find out that my microphone wasn't working, but now it is. Today's little excursion into my mind is called Up Against the Wall. And obviously, the problem that I'm talking about today is our southern wall and immigration in general. I'm not going to touch a whole lot on immigration, as I am going to touch on the wall and why I see a definite need for it. First of all, let's take a look here at some basic facts. One, our southern border with Mexico. It's 1,954 miles from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. And in some places, the border is only marked by a sign or a fence. Okay? Very basic information about the U.S. border down south. Now let's take a look here at what Trump requested. Okay. He requested $5.7 billion for the construction of approximately 234 miles of new steel barrier on the southern border, a $4.1 billion increase over the Senate bill. All right. 234 miles of a 1,954-mile border. That's not even 10%. I mean, well, it's not even 20% of the border. So we got a lot more. He's looking at securing the areas that need it the most. All right, there's that. To protect our communities, administration has requested $675 million to deter and detect narcotics, weapons, and other materials crossing our borders. $211 million for 750 additional border agents, $571 million for 2,000 additional ICE, $4.2 billion for 52,000 detention beds, personnel, transportation, and detention alternatives, $563 million for 75 additional immigration judges and support staff. All right, so let's take a look at these here one by one. $211 million to hire 750 additional border agents. All right. Do we need additional border agents? First of all, I would say let's take all these border agents that are stationed at checkpoints up to 100 miles inside the border, whose sole purpose in life is to harass people. I'm sorry, I can't, I don't believe that they're actually catching illegals by pulling up and saying, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" And if you say yes, thank you much, have a good day, go along. The only people they seem to ever aggravate and cause trouble to are those who insist on not having to show their papers. Totally different issue. I understand. I'll get into that at a later date. But there are a lot of border agents whose sole purpose in life is to man these checkpoints. And yes, I am going to get into this 100-mile range that the courts, including the Supreme Court, has approved, giving border agents authority to inspect without warrants. That's something that gets my goat a lot. Next thing I'm going to look at, okay, but could we still use additional border agents? It's possible, depending on, but I think we can find those 750 there. $571 million for 2,000 additional ICE personnel. It depends on what these ICE personnel are going to be doing. $4.2 billion for 52,000 detention beds. Think about this. 52,000 detention beds. Would we need 52,000 detention beds if illegal immigration was not what the liberals and Democrats are claiming that it is. 52,000 beds. Think about that. And the 75 additional immigration judges and support staff. Okay, yes, we do need them, but we need them because of our stupid laws. This is the way I look at borders, and you'll have a hard time convincing me that my opinion and views of borders is wrong. You cannot have a country without a border. You've got country A, this is its landmass. You got country B, that's its landmass. Country C, that's its landmass. Where these countries abut each other is the border. You can't be a country without a recognized border. A country has a right to protect its borders, or else it's not a country. Country B can, move its people into country A with no border. And then country B now is larger than what it was earlier. Look at the borders of the country as the borders to your yard, the property you own, your home, the borders to your home. Now, when I bought a house, I wanted a house with a fence. Main reason, so I could let my dog go out and run around, do his business, play ball with them, and not worry about him running out in the street or in the neighbor's yards. But also to keep the neighbor's dogs out of my yard, to keep the neighbors out of my yard. It's my property. If I want somebody on my property, then I invite them in. I open the fence. I open the gate on my fence to let them in. If I don't want you on my property, I don't open the gate. You don't come in. It's that simple. Now we go ahead and let the homes represent the country. Your property represents the country. The fence keeps those you don't want in your country out. The gates, entrance points, allows those to enter the country that you want to allow in. I think that's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. You don't want someone in your house, you don't let them in the door. You come home and you find somebody in your house that you didn't invite in. What do? You call the police, you have them escorted out the door. They leave. You don't just offer them a bed. You don't offer them your food. You don't offer them your clothes. You don't offer to buy them a car. You don't offer to feed them and their families, and then they bring more of their family in to live in your house. You call the police and you have that person removed. The country is the same thing. You have these people calling for no borders, no walls, no USA at all. No borders, no walls, no USA at all. Think about that. No USA at all. These aren't people that are for open immigration. They see that as a way of destroying the country. They could destroy their end goal is no USA at all. Do you want to have somebody say no home? No home for me at all? Because I want to let other people live on that land? You don't deserve to have that house? You don't deserve to say who goes in your home? You don't deserve that right? Even though you're the one paying for the bills? Now we've got other problems that we got to look at here too. There are approximately anywhere, the low end number is 22 million, high end 40 some odd million illegal people living in the United States. People who are living in the house in the country illegally. So let's take this down to your house. That would be 2 people living in your house, maybe 4 people living in your house illegally. Do you allow that to happen? No. What do? You call the police and have them removed. You don't welcome them with open arms, offer to buy them food, clothes, put an extension on your house to give them a place to live, to sleep. You don't cook their meals for them. You don't supply their electricity. You don't give them a weekly stipend so they can go out and go to the movies and do whatever. You call the police and you have them leave. Now, we've got a lot. I mean, this situation, I don't understand how the Democrats, especially Democrats who just 10 years ago were begging to put up more walls and fences. Chuck Schumer, Pelosi, Obama, all of them were against immigration, illegal immigration. Let me get that through again. Illegal, not just immigration, but illegal immigration. Let's be specific. We're not talking about immigration in general. We're talking about illegal immigration. People coming into the country illegally. People staying in the country illegally. Illegally. They broke the laws. They have no respect for us. They have no respect for the country. Only thing they have respect for is the money that they are given. The money that they can send back home to their families. The money that they are, the services that they are stealing. Yes, stealing. Why? Because our courts have ruled that they get free medical. Hospitals can't turn them away. That their kids can go to our schools. The schools can't turn them away. Even though they are here illegally. Think of that. We are supporting 20 to 40 million people living in this country illegally. They've taken jobs that they don't have a right to because they are here illegally. They use services they don't have a right to because they are here illegally. You don't let people live illegally in your home. You don't let uninvited guests stay in your house forever. You have them leave because they are there illegally. You don't want them there. They are there illegally. Illegally. The word has a definite meaning. If you don't like the laws the way they are currently written, then get the laws changed. But until then, the people are here illegally. Yes, I do honestly believe what I am saying. I know I am going to upset people. I know I sound like I'm heartless. But I've got medical proof that I actually do have a heart and it is the right size. Just as I have medical proof that I do have a brain and it is fully functional. It's because I live in this country. I am a citizen of this country. I defended this country. I vote. I let my representatives know what I want. And if they do what I don't want them to do, I vote against them. And let's go I'm going to just throw this out there because it's something I need to have to say. There's a court case going on over the census. And the census is very important. It's done every 10 years. And it's more than just counting the number of people, but it also sets up the representation in Washington, D.C. Now, the way they currently do it by law is they count everybody, including people here illegally and who are not U.S. citizens. I think those are two groups that need to be not counted. If you're not a citizen, then you're just living here. You are a resident, or you're here illegally. But either way, you should not have representation in Washington, D.C. I lived in Germany, but it wasn't my home. I lived in Phoenix. It wasn't my home. I should not be able to vote in a place that is not my home. You need to be a citizen of the United States in order to vote and in order to have representation in Washington, D.C. Because otherwise, if you can't take the legal steps, the time, the effort to become a U.S. citizen, you don't deserve representation. You're here to live. You're not here to make it your home. And if you are saying, well, this is my home, but I don't want to become a citizen, then you don't deserve to have representation. You don't deserve to have the right to vote. You don't deserve anything other than what, rights, basic rights that any human would be allowed to have. But you don't deserve the protections and the benefits that U.S. citizens get. And yet, I do believe this. I do believe that residents should not have the same protections, constitutional protections, constitutionally protected rights as citizens have. And if that hurts your heart, I'm sorry that your heart hurts. That just means that you're using it instead of using your brain. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of response. I hope I get a lot of response to this. I hope I've made some people a little bit upset. And I hope that people let me know where they think I'm wrong, or we can have a discussion. But this is sort of like Crowder. Prove me I'm wrong. Convince me I'm wrong. Show me where I'm wrong. But you better have your facts, because I don't care about your feelings. I don't care what you feel. I want to know about your facts. All right? I'll get this put up here as soon as I can figure out how to mix this with the video portion. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and we'll try this again later on. Thank you much.